Do you need more storage space in your kitchen? Well, in this one I'm going to show you how to utilise the space underneath your kitchen units. At the bottom of your kitchen units you'll find a kickboard. Now in our case this kickboard hasn't been removed since the day we moved in. My mum can't stand it, hence why she put this laminate flooring in front of it. So the first job was to remove this. Now it was nice and simple for me. I just had to cut through a bit of the old paint and pry off the sections of kickboard. Now if you've got a more modern kickboard you might find that them actually attached with clips. Again, it's just a case of prying it off. You're just going to have to be a lot more careful. Like I say, these kickboards have been on since we moved in, so it was quite interesting to find what was left underneath. Once I'd got the kickboards off, I needed to measure the space that I had available. So I got a measurement for the width, the depth and the height as well. With these measurements I can then go away and figure out how big the drawers need to be. I need to make the dimensions a little bit smaller all the way around just to give me some wiggle room, but I also need to keep in mind that I'm going to add wheels onto the sides as well, so I need to deduct that from the total measurement too. Once you've got the measurements figured out, it's just a case of cutting MDF to size. I use 12mm MDF to make my drawers, but you might drop lucky and be able to find plastic storage drawers that fit the space as well, so do keep an eye out. Each drawer just consists of 5 parts. We need a bottom and 4 sides. We're basically just making a tray. I cut all the pieces myself using a circular saw, but if you're not too confident doing this, you could always take your cutting list to your local DIY store and they should be able to cut it for you. Once all the pieces have been cut, it's just a case of assembling it, and I'm keeping the assembly really simple. To start off, I assemble all the sides together. So I butt up the corners, drill a couple of thin pilot holes to try and prevent the MDF from splitting, add some wood glue, and then secure it in place with screws. If you do find that the MDF splits a little bit, don't worry about it, just squeeze in some wood glue, wipe it clean with your finger and that'll fix it. Once the frame was all together, I could attach the bottom, and again that just goes on with a bead of glue all the way around the edge, drill some thin pilot holes and then secure it in place with screws. To be honest, this would be plenty strong enough for this application, but to just be extra sure, I also added some dowels to the corners. To do this, I just drilled a 6mm hole, added some wood glue, added wood glue to a 6mm wooden dowel, and hammered it in flush. I did this to all 4 corners. Once the tray is assembled, it's just a case of sanding it and then it's ready for paint. I kept these really simple and just painted them white, but of course you could paint them any colours you like. Keep in mind, you'll only see them when you actually open the drawers though. Once the paint's dry, you can attach the wheels. Now to help position it, I used a scrap block of wood. I offered this up to each corner, butted up the wheels against it and marked where to drill the holes. I made sure that the holes would fall onto the bottom piece of MDF because that's where most of the weight will be sitting. I could then secure it in place with screws. I added 4 wheels to each of the drawers. So the drawer construction is mainly done. The last thing we need to do is sort out the fronts. To make sure the drawers will sit nice and flush with the kickboards, we're going to actually use the kickboards themselves for the drawer fronts. As I said, our kickboards are quite old and there was already in sections, but if you was doing this, you'd want to mark your actual kickboard for where your openings will fall. In my case, I ended up marking the laminate flooring. So I made a mark at either side where the drawers will actually sit. I could then add some painter's tape to try and prevent any kind of chip out, and I cut it to size with a handsaw. A nice shallow angle should prevent chip out as well. Once I'd got the piece cut out for the drawer fronts, I could then mark where I needed to cut it into two. Again, cutting with a handsaw at a nice shallow angle, along with that painter's tape, should prevent any kind of chip out. To secure the laminate flooring to the fronts of the kickboard pieces, I just use super glue. It's not ideal, but when we add the handle hardware later, that will really hold it all together. I just added the super glue, made sure it was flush all the way around, and held it until it set. Now the drawer fronts are sorted, we can attach them to the drawers. I made sure it was centred all the way around, and I sat it on top of a scrap piece so that way it won't drag along the floor when we open and close the drawers. I added a couple of clamps so it wouldn't move around on me. I could then drill 2 pilot holes and add screws. With those screws in place, I could remove the clamps and add a couple more screws. Now it's time to fit the handles. I used the same handles that we've got on our other kitchen doors, and to make fitting them easier, I used the scrap piece and marked on it where the holes fall on the handles. I also marked the centre line as well. This way I just need to measure the centre of the drawer front, get the height positioned correctly, and that'll give me a mark for where to drill. After making the marks, I drilled holes all the way through the drawer fronts and into the drawers, that way I can attach the screws from the inside. Then it's just a case of poking the screws through, line them up with the handles and tighten them in place with a screwdriver. With the handles on, those are the drawers done, and they should fit nicely underneath the kitchen units. These make great use of unutilised space in your kitchen. I'm sure a lot of you have got that dead space underneath your kitchen units. You've just got the kickboards in front and all the space underneath isn't used at all. So making these drawers opens up that space and gives you a lot more storage opportunities. Plus, I think they look great too. It blends in really well with the existing kickboards. I really hope you liked this one. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you're going to give this a go. I really hope that we've been able to inspire you with this project. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, make sure you click the subscribe button and then click the little bell icon next to it. That way you'll get a notification as soon as you upload a new video. Thank you all for watching.